Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
I feel good. Yeah, you know, don't worry about this, Skip. Don't even look over here, because it's about to go down. I've been one of the moves today.
You know who you remind me of?
Who?
Every morning you remind me of Ron Burgundy. I don't know if you even know Anchorman, but before every newscast, he's yelling, "Hey, everybody, come and see how good I look." Right? That's Shannon Sharpe. Ron Burgundy of Undisputed.
Look good, debate good.
Really?
Debate good, win
I'll give
good.
you the look good, but that's where it all ends.
Look good, feel good. Both of you look good. I like the Ron Burgundy mention. Means we're going to have a good show. And we got to talk about the latest with Cam Newton and the Patriots, because new Patriot Cam Newton has a history of celebrating when he reaches the end zone, most notably with his Superman gesture. But a Boston radio show questioned how those celebrations will be received by Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and even suggested that they may not be allowed. Shannon, do you think Belichick will have a problem with Cam's Superman celebrations?
No, I do not, Skip Bayless. Coach Belichick doesn't have a problem with celebrations. Coach Belichick has a problem with penalties that may come from celebration. Coach Belichick doesn't have a problem with hard play, smart play. He just doesn't want you to get penalties, because he says penalties beat you. Penalties are a sign of a mentally weak football team. You're doing things it's hard enough to beat a team in the NFL without giving them an extra 5 yards, without giving them an extra 15 yards, without doing something dumb that goes directly against helping your team win. And Skip, this all stemmed from a show, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, it was in Boston. And I think it's called Felger and Maz, and the guy, Michael Felger. Skip, this is what happens, Skip, when you don't study, when all you do is talk and you don't do any research. This is what happens, and then you have your listeners that follow up this bull jive. Now, I pulled a clip, and I want the people in Boston, hopefully just a couple of you guys are watching, I want people around the world. This is what Bill Belichick said about celebration. Cue the tape for me, please.
You should be excited when you make a play. Hell, look at all the work you've put into it. All the time that you've spent and practice of put into it, and to go out there in a game competitively and execute it well and make a play, you should be excited about it. And your teammates should be excited too. Just look at this right here. It's so obvious. It's so visible. And when you can show that picture visually to your opponent, that's what intimidation is. That's the look right there, fellas. It's going to be a long night.
That's what Bill Belichick said about celebration. Now, Skip, the part that we didn't get to, there were two earlier clips where defensive guys made plays. Ty Warren made a play against San Diego Chargers. He makes a play. He's excited. None of his teammates come around him. Coach Belichick said, what the hell, guys? Ty excited, but none of you guys seem to be excited.
So he likes team celebrations.
It doesn't matter. What does Cam Newton do after every celebration? What does Cam Newton do with the football? For the last 9 years, Skip Bayless, what does Cam Newton do with the football after he celebrates?
After he celebrates?
Yes.
He gives it to a kid. Is that
He
what you're talking
gives
about?
it to a kid.
Okay. So that makes it okay if you give it to a kid. Okay.
As long as he's not harming his team. Skip Bayless, this is what I'm a firm believer in. The NFL is about 1,700 players on a given Sunday. I don't believe the NFL needs 1,500 TOs, but they don't need 1,500 Barry Sanders or Peyton Mannings either. I believe the NFL, Skip, there's a reason why the NFL lacks the rules. Remember, they lax the rules on celebrations. Why? Because that's what fans wanted to see. If this not entertainment, are you not entertained? See what it is, Skip Bayless? A black quarterback in New England hadn't even played a snap yet, and we're already finding a reason to be upset.
So you think this is racial at its core?
1,717%.
Interesting.
Hadn't even got there, Skip. But at the end of the day, Coach Belichick says, you know what? When a team that celebrates and you play hard and you win, this is going to come down to winning. This is going to come down to winning. You can do all the celebrations. You cannot celebrate. Barry Sanders handed the ball to the official. How many Super Bowls did he get to, Skip?
So you think that's why Barry didn't succeed? He didn't celebrate.
Hold on. Are you saying because guys that celebrate?
Emmitt Smith always just handed the ball to the official, and he won 3.
Oh, he did.
Well, I'm just saying he was regarded as the best player on those teams.
Skip, here's the thing. You see what happens? If you celebrate and you win, you're making a jackleg of yourself. If you celebrate and you lose, why are you doing it? I'll be damned if you do, I'll be damned if you don't. This is football. It is entertaining. Let the guys entertain. Is it just more? Then Coach Belichick says, hold on, wait a minute. You should enjoy the fruits of your labor. You worked all week long. You went to practice. You went to meetings. It's hard to do what you done. So if I get the ball in the end zone, if I choose to celebrate, hell, if I want to order a pizza, as long as they don't throw a 15-yard flag for excessive celebrations, I don't have a problem with it. How about we get to the season? How about we get to a point and Cam scores a touchdown? Let's see what Cam does. Hey, maybe he hands the ball to the official. We don't know. But to make it an issue before it becomes an issue, I think it was unfounded, unwarranted, and we know what's going on. We gotta look at Skip. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that Boston's history.
I think I brought that up to you on Monday morning, right out of the box. Better be careful with this one.
The history of Boston is so good that their greatest winner of all time, when they retired his number, he didn't even show up. How you have a celebration for Skip?
You're talking about Mr. Russell.
Mr. Russell.
Yes, Bill Russell.
Skip Bayless is getting a statue built at Vanderbilt University. He's so upset at Vanderbilt University. Y'all go and handle that. Ernestine, you can go, but I ain't going.
I would be there.
I know you would.
Yes, I would. All right, I want to be very clear about my position here. I tweeted about this last night, that it would behoove Bill Belichick. It would be in his best interest if he not only looked the other way when Cam does his Superman celebration, even after a first down.
Right.
But it would serve him well if he encouraged that celebration, because it's part and parcel of who Cam Newton has always been and what fuels him and fuels his football team. That's what I tweeted last night. It has not been the Patriot way to encourage or to even begin to tolerate what I call signature, individualized, personal, recurring celebrations. They've never had that before. To your point, and that is a great clip about Belichick, there's a new narrative out there that started, yes, I think Mike Florio did it, about how, hey, Belichick's always had guys who celebrate. Yeah. And there's a tape, if we could see it right now, to go along with you. It's almost the accompaniment to your tape of all the different individual celebrations that we've seen. Oh, that's Gronk. I'm going to get to that one in just a second.
The first one was Vrabel.
Yeah, Vrabel was first one.
Is that celebrating?
That's a team celebration. Yeah, there we go.
What is that? That's team. I don't see no team. Oh, I guess the Minutemen are part of the team now, though.
LeGarrette Blount. And here we go. Oh, that's Brandon Cooks on the back of Gronk. And there goes Vrabel.
Who happens to be a head
coach now. Okay, so we're seeing all these celebrations, but the key here to those are they're all one-offs. They're all one-and-done celebrations. Yeah. Some of them were calculated and premeditated, but they didn't recur. They just happened spontaneously in the heat of the moment, the joy of the moment, to Coach Belichick's point. He likes it when the whole team shows huge joy and emotion, like an emotional outpouring that is intimidating to the opposition. As you would well know, you had some celebrations yourself, right?
I did.
And it's like pouring a little gasoline on your own fire, and it's a little overwhelming to the other team, like, damn, he just did it to us again. And he's just rubbing our nose in it right now. Okay, so I get all that. So I would be all for Belichick at least looking the other way, even if this somehow rubs him the wrong way, because he has not encouraged signature individual celebrations such as I am Superman. Maybe behind closed doors, Belichick will say, come on, give me a break. We don't need guys saying I am Superman, especially our franchise quarterback saying that. But let's get back to the Gronk one. He obviously, or at least didn't discourage Gronk's, but what did Gronk do? He took the single oldest celebration in all of football. It was invented in 1965 by Homer Jones of the New York Football Giants, who was the first to think about hey, I'm going to take this football and I'm just going to throw it in the ground.
Yeah.
And Gronk took it to another level because he actually rocked the earth with it. It was a nuclear spike that he sort of invented.
Right.
But it's the oldest celebration. Most people think that Homer Jones' spike in 1965 was the first ever touchdown celebration.
They do.
Okay, so Gronk didn't invent that one.
Right.
Like Cam, you got to give Cam this.
Right.
He has invented things that were never done before.
Right.
The dab in 2015.
Right.
Well, again, there was a craze out there, but Dab took it to the National Football League and made it. He detonated the popularity of the dab.
Well, Skip, they give Cam credit for it, but if you go back and look, that was Cap's celebration. Cap was the one that was doing that.
That's a good point.
But Cam got credit for it.
In an MVP campaign, it took off and it became the signature celebration for a team that got to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
And you can't tell me that the dab wasn't a driving force for the 15-1 Panthers.
Skip, I don't know if people remember this, but when we got to the Super Bowl the first year, we had something that Terrell Davis and the running back started it. It was the Mile High Salute.
And it was huge.
And they still do it to this day.
Okay.
So,
but I always think that those things can actually lift a whole team's psyche. You know, like everybody rallies around that. Like going back to the Bengals in 1989, the Icky Shuffle. And it was so Icky Woods, if you don't remember the running back. But it was so entertaining and it was so clever, even though it wasn't all that complex what he was doing.
It was your team that cut out the celebration because you remember Washington used to score the touchdown and the fun bunch. They would get there and do all this, and then I think it was Dennis Thurman.
It was my friend Dennis Thurman who said, enough of that, not in my house.
And then they almost got into a fight. And the NFL did away with it. It was your guys that cut out the celebration.
And then it was the anti-Dallas celebration detonated by one Terrell Owens before he was a Cowboy. He was a 49er. He ran to the Star.
He did.
And did this on the Star.
Three times.
It was the ultimate blasphemy. That was at old Texas Stadium. It wasn't at Jerry World.
Right.
And he did it, and he got attacked by various Cowboys and knocked off.
George, the guy from
Alabama.
Yeah. And Emmett, I think Emmett was... Well, Emmett scored a touchdown, and then he ran, took his helmet off, and he ran and put the ball down and said, how dare you?
Okay, so this is my gut feeling on this, that I believe Belichick will allow it. I don't know that he would love this being as old school as he is, this signature celebration, because he's never had any, even like all the quote-unquote trouble players, and Cam is not a trouble player. Let's be clear about that. But Belichick has had a history, we've talked about it, of bringing in the Randy Mosses and the Ainsworth and the Corey Dillons and even Aaron Hernandez. That goes into deep, dark trouble. But the point is, all those guys he would take chances on because they would all find, oh, this is how we do it here. This is the Patriot way. Chad Ochocinco. Did he not leave behind the all-time most entertaining touchdown celebrations? He left them behind in Cincinnati.
Hell, he left his game behind in Cincinnati, too.
Well, the point is, I'm not even sure he had a chance to do a river dance celebration in New England because he never was a factor in New England.
That is correct.
But he would be the first to tell you, once I went there, I was a model citizen. Well, all these quote-unquote trouble players became model citizens because Brady, as sort of the overseer of the locker room, would teach them, this is just how this guy demands that we do it. We do it the Patriot way. Okay, so I got all that. Now we get to the issue of power. Who will have the power here going into next year? So there's another story I want to talk about that came via ESPN, and I think it was Diana Rossini yesterday. She quoted anonymously an AFC East head coach as saying, hey, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but don't get this wrong. Belichick loves Jarrett Stidham. Don't be surprised if Jarrett Stidham isn't the starting quarterback next year. So I sit back and think about this because, okay, AFC East, okay, I don't think it's Sean McDermott because I just don't think he would go there. I could be wrong. But there's a guy in Miami who coached for years under Belichick, so he would know where all the bodies are buried. And he would have contacts, deep throat contacts in New England, right? And Adam Gase, he'll talk. You know, he's a talker, so maybe he would go off the record to Diana Rossini. It's possible. My point to you and my question to you is this. Are we missing the boat here? Because if Cam isn't even the starting quarterback, this all becomes a non-issue.
Yes, a moot point.
Okay? So is it possible? Remember, Bill Belichick just signed Cam Newton for barely over $1 million.
Right.
Think about that. It's $1.05 million.
Right.
That's for a starting quarterback.
Right.
Do you realize that makes Cam the 908th highest paid player in the league?
Wow.
Do you realize that makes him the 58th highest paid quarterback in the league? Well, that's so disrespectful. I mean, he's so much better than that.
Man, they paid him like he Dak Prescott.
Okay.
They paid Cam like he Dak Prescott.
Well, he did win an MVP, and he did get to a Super Bowl, which my guy has not done before, right?
And they still paying it. That's what Dak got.
Yeah, well, Dak is about to make 31.4 and maybe a lot more than that. So he's good. But the point is, the incentives could get Cam up to 7.5. Well, that's still not a ton of money when you start thinking about $40 million for a quarterback, right? Here's my question. Is it possible that we all missed the point, missed the boat, that Belichick is viewing Cam Newton as little more than an even better Taysom Hill? That he's thinking of Cam packages where, I don't know, 10, 12 times a game, Cam goes into the game, and he runs it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times, and he throws it 6 or 7 times in a game. Jared Stidham obviously has no credentials to the point that he could balk at that or make any kind of waves about it.
Right.
He would have to just go along with the flow, like he's a first-year starter trying to replace the GOAT, okay? So is it possible that he's just a better Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love or whoever you want to throw in there as a package guy, a gadget guy, but the all-time greatest gadget guy, because it would be just like Belichick to say, watch what I do to you. It could be 15 plays a game where he's mixing and matching Jared Stidham and Cam Newton.
You never say never when dealing with Coach Belichick, but I don't see that happening. Skip, I made when we found out this, I think Cam signed on late Saturday, early Sunday, and we came and talked about it on Monday. I said, Skip, there's a chance that Jared Stidham starts the season, because he has a head start now.
Okay, but you're just talking about a placeholder. You're just talking about like a couple of games until Cam gets up to speed.
Now, if all things being equal, let's just say we have a normal 2020 and Cam gets signed. As soon as he's released, the Patriots bring him in. He goes through OTAs. He goes through minicamp. He's hearing the verbiage. Okay, now I was like, okay, Skip, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting when we get to camp. But when they get to camp, Skip, camp is starting from such a far behind position that Jared Stidham clearly has a leg up. Now, I'm going to be shocked. I would be very surprised, and I'll be honest with you, Skip, if say by 4th, 5th game, unless they're like wiping the floor with people, that Cam is not in the starting lineup. I'm going to even be more shocked, and I think a lot of people will be shocked, if Cam Newton does at some point in time wins this job from Jared Stidham.
Okay, but remember, we're talking about the flip sides of each other, because even though Jared Stidham's pretty athletic, but still he's more of a drop-back pocket passer.
Yeah.
Cam can also be that, but Cam brings a whole nother dimension.
Correct.
And a whole new set of plays.
Right.
So it's hard to switch horses at midstream to go to Cam after 5 games, unless you, as you say, if they're tearing up the league, then that won't happen.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm talking about the prospect of Bill Belichick loving Jared Stidham so much. Well, let me ask you this. What would be more satisfying to Bill Belichick? To get to the playoffs this year with Jared Stidham or with Cam Newton? Help me out.
Well, probably with Jared Stidham.
It would be.
His hand-picked guy, but Skip, the most gratifying thing is to get to the playoffs, because that way it shows I got to the playoffs even without having number 12. Because every time we talk about success, everybody goes back to what I did in Cleveland before I got Brady. So now I'm in New England, and I don't have Brady, and I'm still enjoying a level of success that people didn't think I could have, minus Brady.
Okay. So if he could get to the playoffs with a first-year starter named Jared Stidham, people would be sitting back saying, what, the genius at work again. He did it with another diamond in the rough that this time he picked in the 4th round, not the 6th round like Brady, but the 4th round, which is still pretty incredible, right?
Yeah.
And he could, the critics or in this case, the supporters of Belichick would be saying, look, he's proving that he can do it without Tom Brady, because he did it with Brady, and then he turned around and did it with the next Tom Brady, another guy he plucked out of nowhere.
And there's another theme, Skip, because there's a lot of people that didn't think Cam Newton could mesh with Coach Belichick.
Okay.
So now...
Well, that's a whole nother issue.
But here's the thing. Now he takes that guy where people say, well, he couldn't even mesh. gets to the playoffs, make a deep run in the playoff with Cam Newton, because remember, Skip, over the last 4 years, what Cam numbers have done since that MVP
Okay,
season.
but I got to tell you, it wouldn't be nearly as impressive as Jared Stidham.
Well, you're talking about a second-year guy.
Okay.
That's what made
and
Brady,
a first-year starter.
Right, that's what made Brady's success so overwhelming. Because
in 01.
Right, you're talking about a second-year guy that really didn't take any, but I don't even know if he threw a pass in 2000. And so and he comes onto the scene, and even when Bledsoe got healthy, Coach Belichick wouldn't turn it back over to him, which is odd, especially a guy you paid that kind of money to.
Let's say you get to this year's Super Bowl with Cam Newton. Well, some people, including me, would say, well, he was an MVP, and he did lift the Carolina Panthers to 15-1 in the Super Bowl. So he's done it. He's been there and done all that before. Right. So it wouldn't shock me. Well, I guess it would shock me if he took what's left in the cupboard at New England against the hardest schedule off last year's win-loss record. If he took that team against that schedule to the Super Bowl, he'd be in the MVP. He might be the MVP.
Yeah, exactly. He gets that team to the Super Bowl. He's probably going to be the MVP.
That would be all about Cam Newton more than it would be about Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Okay, my point there is, back to celebrations. If Cam Newton does start week 1, and he does take over games and start to take over this team, then we have a whole different dynamic operating where Belichick's going to have to sit back and say, I got to swallow this because this guy has become the new face of our franchise. And it would allow Belichick to at least compete with what Brady's doing, with what I still think is a very good...
Or not doing.
Will be doing.
Or not.
It's a dead solid in concrete fact. That team's going to win the division.
It's not.
So you need to compete with that. I don't think you can compete with that with Jared Stidham.
But Skip, what I don't understand, you remember when Brady would get those first downs and he would do all this? Is that celebrating?
Well, he doesn't do this, does he?
Yeah.
First down?
First down, you got to get a first down, and when he would walk for those first downs.
Okay, but how many times did that happen? 3?
But it happened. Did that guy have a problem with those celebrations? That's my only thing. Hey. You can't say, well, he only celebrated 3 times, but Cam might celebrate 30 times. So I have a problem with the 30, but not the 3.
Okay, well, let me point this out. And I've said this before. Tom Brady has shown more emotion on the football field than any quarterback in the history of pro football.
Yes.
In the history. Why do I call him Psycho Tom? He loses it. He is capable of running 60 yards down the field and headbutting the guy he just threw a touchdown pass.
Well, Skip, you remember in Pittsburgh when they said the DB said, we're going to beat the Patriots. And that was that opening night, and Tom Brady threw the flea flicker.
It wasn't opening night.
Well, it was Sunday night.
It was at Foxborough in the middle of that season.
Right. And he takes off running down the field in the guy's face.
He did. Got in the guy's face.
You like that?
Yeah, because that guy guaranteed that they would win at Foxborough.
Exactly.
I can't remember his name. Smith? Wasn't he a Smith?
I can't even remember his name either.
Poor guy.
Well, he's probably glad you can't remember his name.
Yep, I agree. But the point is, if Cam suddenly flips the switch back to Superman, if he's 2015 Cam right out of the box this year, well, he'll take over the town. He'll take over the team. They will love him. They won't love him as much as Brady because he only got to 9 Super Bowls.
Well, I think the thing is, here's the thing about celebration, Skip. What people get upset about, you're losing by 25 points. You break up a pass, and then you going all over. Look at me, you strutting like a peacock. You do it. Bro, you down 25.
Okay.
Or you score a touchdown, and you down 21 points with 3 minutes to go in the ball game, and you act like you just won the lottery. Bro, settle down. But Cam, in the course of the game, you winning, and they're having fun. That's what Coach Belichick wants because that's what's contagious. Man, you see Cam, I'm going to go get me a play because I want to celebrate. That's the way it's going to happen, Skip Bayless.
Think so? So what if Jared Stidham is the starter? Can you see Cam, if he doesn't have packages, can you see him just holding a clipboard? Because you want to talk about a guy who is not made for that?
Yeah,
that's the last guy who is made for that. Cam Newton was born to be a starting quarterback and a star quarterback in this league.
It's tough.
It's why nobody wanted to take a shot at him as our backup. We don't want that guy. His aura's too big. His personality's too big to be a backup.
I'm sure they'd love to have Eli as a backup in New York. Eli said, nah, I ain't going to be able to do that, bro. I'm going to go and exit stage left.
Yeah, but Eli had no personality. like what I'm saying is there was no aura to him where you said, this kid's got it, you know?
But did you see Eli standing on the sideline when Daniel Jones took over? He had even less personality.
Okay, well, that was pathetic. I agree. You know, there's something that gnaws at me that maybe Belichick, because so many people reported in New England that he loves Jared Stidham. I think maybe we're going to see Cam as kind of a co-quarterback, as in I get to play 12 plays a game kind of a quarterback.
Well, as long as it's not that situation that they had in Dallas and we had in Denver.
Where you alternate plays?
Yeah.
You actually run in and out with the play called from right into your ear by the head coach?
Yeah. I don't think that'll be a good situation.
I don't think we'll see that.
Okay.
No mercy.
According to Tom Brady's personal throwing coach, Tom House, TB12 is enjoying his early days with the Buccaneers. After Tampa Bay acquired Rob Gronkowski, Brady texted House, quote, "Football's fun again." So, Shannon, what do you read into this?
I read Tom is full of it. Full of caca.
Really?
Full of it. I'm talking about to the rim. Overflowing. Absolutely. 1,717% again. Skip, here's the thing. Tom Brady's trying to paint Bill Belichick as the bad guy. Oh, it was miserable. My 20 years, going to 9 Super Bowls, winning 6, winning 3 MVPs, the first unanimous MVP player in NFL history. My time was unenjoyable. I don't know how I survived it, guys. Now, if people don't remember, I want to go back. Lane Johnson, when they played the Philadelphia Eagles, said these guys, yes, they've won a lot, but they don't look like they're having fun. They're so robotic. They're so methodical. You ask them the same question, and every guy will give you the exact same answer. Tom Brady said winning is fun. That's what Tom Brady... Now, if it's a lie, Tom Brady told it. So I just need to know, Skip Bayless, was he lying then or is he lying now? Because that's what he said then when Lane Johnson said it looked like they're not having fun. And Tom Brady, ain't nobody ask him. Then he got up there and said, then they did ask him. But with Tom, Lane Johnson said, you guys look like you're not having any fun. you know, Tom. I think winning's fun. Oh, really, Tom? Now, all of a sudden, nobody in the history of the NFL has won more games at the quarterback position. Hell, ain't nobody has won that many games in 2 decades in any NFL team. And now, all of a sudden, he wasn't having fun. Let me tell you why Tom Brady wasn't having fun last year, Jenny. Because he played like stir fry. That's why. Everybody want to tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell you the gospel truth. Tom Brady did not play well. And it ended up, guess what, Skip Bayless? They put something up on his feet and slid him on up out the door. Say, get up out of here.
Really?
You're not the same guy. So you can miss me with that, Tom Brady. Okay, you're in Tampa. Have fun. Tom Brady being real petty. I'm starting to look at him in a different eye. Tom Brady, you're not the first guy. Joe Montana didn't say that when he got up out of town. Emmitt Smith didn't say that. Bruce Smith, Jerry Rice, some of the all-time greats, Peyton Manning, ain't take no shots at his former team. But now you want to take shots. All right, Tom Brady, come on now. Oh, Mr. Classic. Oh, he's the epitome, the all-American boy. But when I tell you, Tom Brady's just like everybody. Shannon, what you're trying to do is you're projecting Shannon Sharpe into Tom Brady, the greatest winner. Now you get to see a side of him, Skip Bayless. I want you to defend this. I want you to defend it.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Thank you. Speaking of caca, I just heard a whole big pile of it come right at me from across the table. And I'm about to wade through all the caca that you just spewed at me.
Okay, go ahead.
Tom Brady was clearly miserable for his last 3 seasons under Coach Tyrant, under Coach Napoleon Bill Belichick. It started, as you acknowledged, at the trade deadline of the 2017 season when it became readily apparent to one Tom Brady, the GOAT, that the quote-unquote GOAT head coach wanted him gone because he had already handpicked his successor. Late in the second round, he had drafted one Jimmy Garoppolo out of, Eastern Illinois, another diamond in the rough. And Bill Belichick had decided it was time to go forward with Jimmy Garoppolo as the new face of the franchise in New England. And Mr. Sharpe, according to the ESPN story, what happened? Tommy went to Daddy, right? He
sure did.
Went all the way upstairs to Daddy, and he said, "Are you going to let him get away with this?" And I was all for Tom Brady saying that because he had earned the right to say that. And Mr. Kraft, as you call him, made the right decision. He sided with the quarterback over the quote-unquote GOAT head coach. And he said, Bill, you will trade Jimmy G. And Bill, out of spite, I believe, just called up Kyle Shannon and said, you want him? You got him. You can have him for a second-round pick. Here, I give you your starting quarterback. That was a fireable offense to me. But then it started. From that point on, it started. Do you remember what happened in that year's AFC Championship game?
I do.
Jacksonville, called Saxonville at that point, one of the top 5 defenses in the league, went to Foxborough and had a 20-10 lead going to the fourth quarter. 20-10 with that defense. And all Tom Brady did in the fourth quarter was throw for 138 yards and bring them all the way back to victory and to the Super Bowl. He did so with 12 stitches in the base, in the palm of his throwing hand.
He did.
And afterward, Bill Belichick was asked about his quarterback playing with 12 stitches, and he said, well, it wasn't exactly open heart surgery.
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
It wasn't. That had to steam Tom Brady. So then what happened? They go to the Super Bowl, and what did Tom do in that Super Bowl? With the 12 stitches just having come out of his hand, he throws for an all-time playoff game record, 505. He puts up 33 points, and he loses because Belichick's defense gives up 41 to the Eagles' backup quarterback, the now forgotten Nick Foles, that you have little to no respect for. Hung 41 on Belichick's defense. Why was that? Well, in large part, it was because Malcolm Butler inexplicably got benched for the entire game. The starter on defense who had played the most snaps in the regular season inexplicably doghoused for the whole Super Bowl. And Tom Brady was furious over it because he should have been, because Belichick cost him his 6th Super Bowl that day. 33 should have stood up against the Eagles. You know it, and I know it. So about a month later, Tom Brady came out here to Santa Monica, not far from where we're sitting right here, right now, to do a speaking engagement. And he was interviewed, as LeBron was in the decision, by Jim Gray. Do you remember this?
I do.
And Jim asked him, do you feel appreciated by Belichick and Kraft? And Tom Brady answered, I plead the 5th. Tom Brady, the robotic quarterback who says all the right things, said, I plead the 5th. Jim Gray asked, well, are you happy? Tom Brady said, I have my moments. What?
Everybody got moments.
You have your moments? Are you kidding me?
What person's happy all the time?
Oh, okay. So he was clearly miserable at that point. That was just after the end of 2017. But he stays miserable, and he still lifts Belichick's team all the way to the AFC Championship game at Kansas City. And in overtime, he converts 3 straight 3rd and 10s. That's almost statistically impossible, but he did it at Patrick Mahomes. 3 straight 3rd and 10s he converts to win the game in overtime and lift them to another Super Bowl. He did not play great in that, but he did play great when it was time because it was 3-all in the middle of the fourth quarter, and he conducted yet another game-winning drive by completing 5 straight passes, 1 to Gronkowski for 29 yards down to the 2-yard line, and Belichick, he benefited again from Tom Brady. So Tom Brady, who was going to be traded or dumped after the 2017 season, they would have probably tried to trade, but they might have just patted him on the head and sent him packing. I don't know. But the point was that I think Mr. Kraft was right, because what did he get out of it? Well, he got a Super Bowl that should have been won, and he got a Super Bowl that was won. And then last year, this was the final straw for Tom Brady being miserable. Tom Brady does the most with the least he did in his entire career last year when you said he was caca or whatever you said he was. Stir-fry. You said he was stir-fried. Stir-fried caca. I don't know. We can go that far. Let's just mix the metaphors, okay?
Yes.
And what happened? Tom Brady lifts that team in position to be the 2 seed. Are you kidding me? The 2 seed in the AFC to Lamar's Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah.
And he drives them 60 yards for a touchdown with 3 minutes left in the home finale against the Dolphins. And all of a sudden, he puts them ahead 24-20. So Miami needs not just a field goal, it needs a touchdown. And Ryan Fitzpatrick goes 75 yards in 13 plays against Belichick's sorry defense.
Oh, that is sorry.
Well, they were at that point to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, I'll give you Fitzmagic on occasion, but you have little to no respect for him. This is the drive of the year in the AFC because it tilts the whole playoff sideways because all of a sudden the Patriots go from having a week off in a home game, which they desperately needed at that point, to falling completely out of the 2 seed and having to play Tennessee, the hottest team in the playoffs, the next week.
Lowly Tennessee.
They were on fire thanks to Derrick Henry. Was he not bulldozing at that point?
Skip, hold on. Now, when that article came out, that Seth Wickersham, beautiful article, beautiful. I think I read that article about 5 or 6 times. Tom Brady said there was no truth to that. That he, Coach Belichick, and Mr. Kraft was on the same page. As a matter of fact, they released a statement that had all of their signatures. So now, which is it, Skip? Again,
he's the ultimate team
player.
Oh,
now he's a team guy.
Yeah.
He's all Skip Bayless. What my grandmother used to say, boy, that's a lie. All that you talk about the team player and all that other stuff and misrepresentation of the truth or misspeaking the truth, in lay terms, that is a lie. So he was lying then or he's lying now because I thought winning was fun. That's what he said, Skip. He said winning. Everybody says winning is the ultimate deodorant for anything. Anything that's going on in the locker room, just win. Tom Brady has won more in 2 decades than anybody in the history of professional football. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to make it seem like Coach Belichick suppressed him. No, he didn't. You didn't want to let people in. So that was a part of the enigma that was Tom Brady. What's he really like? And then all of a sudden, he discovered social media, and he post a little stuff here and there. It was corny. He throwing leaves up in his yard. I get all that. I get all that. But Skip Bayless, stop this. Stop it. He didn't play well last year. That's why he didn't have fun. That's what it comes down to, Skip Bayless. A man that's won all the accolades. Now he wasn't having fun. Now he's having fun in Tampa. Wow, Skip, really?
For 20 years, he swallowed all of Coach Belichick's criticism. Coach Belichick would ream him out in film sessions and in practices, stop practices and say, hey, Brady, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah. The way no star quarterback has ever been criticized in the history of this league by a head coach.
And no coach has won more in the history of their league like he has. So like you tell me, Skip Bayless, all the time, he's earned the right. You say Tom Brady's earned the right to do certain things. Bill Belichick should, when it comes to his coaching style, should be beyond reproach.
So, Tom Brady, the most coachable quarterback in the history of pro football because his father taught him, Tom Sr. taught him, you will honor and obey whatever your head coach says at every level you play. And Tom Brady said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Coach Belichick. Yes, sir. Okay, Coach Belichick. He swallowed it. With goatish pride just steaming up through him, he swallowed Belichick for 20 years until the last 3, he just couldn't take it anymore. And all of a sudden, he was able to pick and choose. He's now playing for Coach Fun down in Tampa. Bruce Arians is the funnest coach to play for offensively in the National Football League. So he would text my friend Tom House and say, hey, football is fun again, in large part because Gronk, whom he did not have all of last year, his favorite partner in crime, the guy who made him laugh in the locker room, who made it tolerable in the locker room with his silliness and his jokes and his goofy behavior. Finally, he's reunited in Tampa with Gronkowski, and he's saying it's fun again. I've got 2 Pro Bowl receivers. I've got 3 really good tight ends. Not just one. I got the GOAT tight end, but I got 2 others who are really good. And here we go.
Now, Tom Brady, a guy. Now, this is not an accident that Tom House put this out. Hold on.
I was a little surprised that Tom just spilled it out.
Well, he don't spit it out. Brady allowed it to. Because you think that's the only time in the how long has the long had text messages that Tom Brady has said something to a friend that hasn't gotten out? He wanted this out. He wanted to make Coach Belichick look bad, but he can't.
Well, he's been posting like crazy. You could every IG post is, I'm having fun. I'm having more fun. I'm even having more fun today.
You know,
right?
You know what Coach Belichick said? Coach Belichick says, I got 6, and I'm going to win one for the middle finger for you, Tom Brady.
Really?
That's what I got for you, Tom. Number 7 going on the middle finger.
I like Brady's chances a lot more than I like Belichick.
I don't.
Tom Brady's new slogan should be fun at 42. Soon to be 43. But, you know, he's having fun. The time is now for him. The time is now, Shannon. Get on board with Skip and I. You're going to be left behind.
No mercy.
Giannis Antetokounmpo believes the 2020 championship will be even harder for a team to win than a typical one due to the pandemic. Yesterday, he was asked if the eventual champion will have an asterisk. And he responded, quote, "I hear a lot of people saying it could have a star next to it. It's going to be the toughest championship you could ever win." I hear him. Shannon, do you agree here?
I do, because I don't believe the team will have won a championship under more difficult circumstances. Skip, you fight all these games. You play 82 games, and you try to do everything you possibly can to get home court advantage. You want the first game on your home court, whether it's the first round or the NBA championship. And if it were to go 7 games, you want that final game on your home court. And all of a sudden, there is no home court advantage. Skip, it's difficult because the thing is that when these guys travel, Skip, they like to do things. They like to go out and meet other friends. You know, they got friends in these cities. They like to go out, maybe have a cocktail or something and go just do things. Now, all of a sudden, Skip, there is no going out. There is no meeting up with friends. Once you're in, you're in. And I understand they call it a bubble, but it's kind of like prison, Skip, because, you know, in prison, you don't get to go out to campus either. So I know they have more amenities. You got a DJ, you got barbers, you got chefs, and you got the table, you got pools. Skip, you got all this stuff. You can go golfing and you can go trail riding. Skip, you got a lot of stuff you can do, but you just can't leave. Let that sink in for just a second, Skip. You got all these things, and a lot of these guys got these things in their own home anyway, Skip. But you know what, Skip Bayless? You got pots and pans. Jenny got pots and pans, but you go eat out. Yeah, the privilege is just to know I can leave when I want to, but you can't. And you got to stay focused. It's a grind, Skip, to know it's basically what it says, a marathon. No, it ain't a marathon anymore, because now the marathon is down to the last mile, and you got Kipchoge chasing you. Well, actually, we're Kipchoge. That's us. We're the runner, and you're chasing us. But you're right, yeah, Giannis. Your championship won't have an asterisk by it because you're not going to win. That's why it won't have an asterisk by it. You know who's going to have the championship? Us. We, Lakers, Laker Nation. And it won't have a championship by it. But it's going to be very difficult, Skip, because no one has ever had to win a championship under these circumstances. Think about all the people that, you know, Avery Bradley is opted out. We don't know what Dwight Howard, because he has this very similar situation. He might opt out.
Lou Williams might. We still haven't heard.
So, Skip, there's a lot going on, Skip. We've never seen anything like this before. We've had strike-shortened seasons, but nothing like this. I agree with Giannis. This is going to be the most difficult championship to win, and it should not have an asterisk by it. But since he's not going to win it, he shouldn't worry about that.
Oh, whoa, are these poor NBA players. My heart bleeds for these poor NBA players. I can't believe what they're about to be pushed through, to this grinder that they're about to be. It's going to be excruciating. They are basically going to be put in prison for like 3 months.
It is.
Stop it. Would you just stop it?
Can't go nowhere.
I will give you this. The COVID threat is obviously real and obviously rising. I will give you that much. But obviously, the NBA will do everything in its huge and broad power to make it as safe as possible for these players.
Right.
So even though the threat is hanging over everybody, and there'll be different levels of paranoia for different players, that's a given for all of us out in society right now. That's just the way life is, not just in America, but basically everywhere.
And think about it, Skip. The virus popped back up. Why? Because people couldn't stay their butt home. So you imagine guys making $30, $40 million that's used to having access and being able to go whenever they want.
Now let me get to my point. The truth is, this will be by far the easiest championship ever there was to win, because I want you to think about what's about to happen.
What?
These players do not have to travel to a single game. There is no air travel. There are no coast-to-coast flights. There are no time zone changes. You get to stay. It's not your own bed, but it'll feel like your own bed after about 3 months, because you'll have everything set up in your own room. You're not exactly in solitary prison confinement. You're in the Walt Disney bubble in Orlando. You have gone to Disney World heaven. You've got the Disney staff who's as sharp and as smart and as on top of things as any staff in this country.
I want to leave.
Okay? Yeah, but they are going to wait on you 24 hours a day, hand and foot. Whatever your heart desires, you got it from this staff. It's 24-hour room service. And by the way, the bars are open. The restaurants are open within the bubble.
But I ain't going in the bars.
Okay. Why not?
Cause
you can go. You're fine. You're cleared. You got tested. You're clean.
I like to drink alone.
Okay. Well, that's fine. You just stay in your room anyway. I don't know what you're complaining about. So the point is, you do get to play golf if you choose. You can go fishing. They got lots of great bass ponds right there on the property. You can go fishing if you want to. You can play ping pong tournaments if you want to, and you can play every video game ever known to man. They probably have Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man somewhere. They got video games everywhere, and every guy's going to take like 17 video games to his room to play. Am I right about that?
Probably.
Okay, so for all these players, it's going to be like you're going to go back to the good old days of AAU basketball. When they were in AAU on travel teams, what would happen? They'd go to tournaments and be gone for a week. And what would they do? They would focus solely on playing basketball and hanging out. Because that's all there is to do, right?
Yeah, but then you have to understand, you're dealing with somewhere between 13, I guess let's just say from 10-year-olds all the way to 17, 18-year-olds. And then you'd have chaperones. Skip, these guys are used to having access and going wherever they want, whenever they want.
Okay, but think about the trade-off. Every game is going to require a 10-minute bus ride or whatever it is to the arena. 10 minutes, that's all you got. And when you're finished, you got 10 minutes back to your hotel and you're done. You don't have to run and catch a flight. You don't have to get in at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
You don't have to change time zones. It's simple. All you do, there are no distractions. I know a lot of family members will not be there, but it could be a good thing for you to clear your head and have no external distractions. This is all basketball all the time. Guys who live for the game of basketball, guys who live for the playoff run will be in basketball heaven. You couldn't ask for anything more.
I live for both. I live to play basketball and to be free. Skip, now you remember when we came back from the Super Bowl, we were very fortunate. We got an opportunity. They took care of us, put us on old big old honker, me, you, and Jenny. We came back. I had me a bed. I laid that kick. So when you do charter, Skip, they leave when you want to. So you talk about they rushing. This is not running through the airport, got to go through TSA security, or you got clear a global passage. You don't have to do that. You guess what? You get on the bus, they drive you through, and you walk right up the steps. So it wasn't a inconvenience about that, Skip. It's the inability to be able to do what I want when I want to. I want to have my car. Man, I just bought back. You see James Harden got a new Lambo. Bert. He can't drive that. Bron just got that new whip. It ain't even out yet. He only got one of them. He can't drive that.
You can get your car in the bubble.
No,
you can
can't.
drive it all over the property.
No.
You can do laps around the bass pond if you want to.
I want to go outside the bubble.
Okay.
I want to be...
No. Now, let me close my case with the biggest point of all. These players all just got 5 months off just ahead of the playoffs. In the history of this league, nobody's ever got even a week off before the playoffs, because let's talk about the GOAT. Let's talk about MJ, shall we?
Yeah.
9 times in his career, he played all 82 games. Twice he played 80-plus, so that makes it 11 80-plus years, right? Okay, so how many times did he even get 2 days off before the playoffs started? Never! His last 3 years, the last three-peat, leading up to the last dance in 98, he played all 82 all 3 times, and it was just like, boom, here we go. And in those days, they played a lot of back-to-backs in the playoffs, and it was hard. You might even have to fly and play the next day in the rival city. All of a sudden, you get 5 months off, and your body is fresh. It healed. All these guys, they're not going to feel the aches and pains that you take into the playoffs.
Let me ask you a question. How many people, let's just say, we take anything, we'll say for the Olympics or we take any other sport. Name the team, name the sport. You take 5 months off and then you go play your championship. Other than Daytona. Daytona is the only thing that you do that, where they take time off and then their first big race back is the Daytona, which is the biggest race, and they go do it. Do they do that in football? Do they take the whole summer? Do they take, okay, you finish up in February if you win the Super Bowl, and then you take all that time off and say, you know what, July, we back at the Super Bowl. We go, hey. No, that's not how they do it. That's not how they do it
Well,
in
I know a
baseball.
lot of players that love to be able to do that before the playoffs started. after all. You're beat all to hell. You know this better than anybody. Yes. And they get beat all to hell, too, if you play 82 games. All of a sudden, everybody is injured to some degree. And now nobody is injured to some degree.
Well, a lot of it, Skip, is about attrition. It's about being able to withstand that mentally. Now you got another mental challenge, is that we're going to be confined here for up to 3 months.
Oh, spare me. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is that bad.
With that kind of luxury that you're living in the lap of luxury, it'll be okay. And if you come and tell me, as LeBron often has told everybody, playoffs are all that matter, well then that's it. This is all that you could ever hope for. You get to focus 1,000% on winning a championship.
It doesn't mean that it's not a grind. That man's going to be away from his family. Okay. The man got married for a reason. The man had kids for a reason. He didn't get married to go dump them off on Savannah and say, well, Savannah, I'm gone. I'll be back in 3 months. That ain't what he did.
Every time I look up, LeBron's in Las Vegas or LeBron's over here.
Don't worry about us.
I don't know.
Why you following him? You don't need to worry about all that.
I can't help it.
All I'm saying is, Skip, is that it's going to be a grind. You know it's going to be a grind because it's unfamiliar. All the things that you mentioned about playing a game, then getting on a flight and flying to another city, they've been doing that if they've been in the league, since they've been in the league. So 5, 10, LeBron has been in there 17 years. UD is 40 years of age. So he's been doing it for an extremely long period of time. That's what you get used to. You're acclimated to that. And now this is we don't know. They've never seen anything like this. So how do we prepare, Skip? At least somebody's been on the championship team and says, okay, this is the way we've done it. Or you call somebody. Who can you call and says, how do we navigate this? What's the person you can call?
You know what? You could figure this one out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's pretty easy to figure out. And I'm sorry, Giannis, but this one's going to have a big old asterisk beside it.
Giannis.
Because everybody got to heal up before the playoff run. Michael Jordan never got to heal up, and he went 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals.
Hold on. Golden State said, hey, I wish we could have had that, because that means we could have had a healthy Kevin Durant. Just imagine we'd have got 5 months off and got a healthy Kevin Durant.
Well, I don't think you wouldn't have gotten him back.
Well, yeah, you would. Yes, you would have.
Off his Achilles?
Yeah. Let's just say last year. Kevin Durant ankle his Achilles is acting up. So instead of missing a series, he gets to take 4 months off. And guess what? Orthopedic guy does not have another chip. Because you know and I know, if Kevin Durant's healthy, they're not winning.
By the way, why is an orthopedic guy in that picture right
Because
there?
he's
about to be the MVP of back-to-back finals.
Giannis.
Where is Kawhi Leonard, and why this disrespect shown to him by Undisputed? I want to know now.
Giannis, I just want you to know one thing. There would not be an asterisk by it if you were to win the title. Only if the guy in the middle of the montage that's behind us won the title will there be an asterisk.
Poor Giannis. He's going to have to figure out how to call room service 24 hours a day. That poor man. I don't know how he's going to live through this. He may never be the same.
Hey, you don't want to eat room service all the time.
Hey, I do. I would. I used to.
I know you did.
So did you.
What if you were told that we had to be in a bubble to do the show?
We are in a bubble.
We are.
We live in an antiseptic ghost town of a bubble.
Basically. But we're all routine people like these guys. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see how it goes. But I want to move on to how the pandemic is affecting and will affect the NFL season, because the 2020 preseason will reportedly be trimmed from 4 games to 2. Specifically, Week 1 and Week 4 have been scrapped. The league is expected to announce the move today, and this comes after the cancellation of the Hall of Fame game as well. So, Skip, I want to start with you. Was shortening the preseason the right move here?
Not only was it the right move, but we need to shorten it even more. And I want to frame all this by saying my paranoia over COVID has run amok. I heard early this morning, the first thing I heard when I woke up is that the United States set a 1-day record yesterday for COVID positives. A 1-day record? So we're in a big second spike here, right?
Yep.
And it seems to be getting worse, not better. Obviously, we all want, as fans, we want to see the NBA come back, and we obviously want to see the National Football League come back in early September. So if you're telling me you just cut 2 preseason games, and my whole life right now, it revolves around wearing masks and washing my hands, and listening to Dr. Fauci tell me nothing but doom and gloom.
Yep.
that why wouldn't we then just do away with the other 2 preseason games if that would maximize the chances of avoiding an internal NFL outbreak during training camp that would derail the real season, right? Why wouldn't we do away with it? And this is to a pet peeve of mine. I have wondered for years why college football got away with having 0 preseason games. Do they play any preseason games? No. You can scrimmage yourself, you know, you can do that. But you can't. I've lobbied starting like 30 years ago. Why wouldn't the NCAA allow teams to sort of regionally pick somebody and 2 weeks before your opening game, just have a scrimmage? You don't even have to keep score. You know how it was back in the day?
Yeah.
Just scrimmage. You know, offense, defense, offense.
We would actually play. You would practice against the team before we actually played.
Right. When you do that? Yeah, back in high school, they had these round robins.
We call jamborees.
Okay, jamborees. Okay, there you go.
We would play one team for a half, play another team for a half.
Okay. Because you need, especially in football, it's such a complex game, especially, and I don't want to get too deep into the X and O's, but kicking teams, you know, your field goal team, your coverage teams, your kickoff teams, it's hard to keep running people in and out and get the right 11 on the field lined up.
Right.
So you need some quote-unquote real-type games, or at least some scrimmages, just to get everybody mentally on the same page. Oh, this is how it's got to be done.
Right.
Well, guess what? The NCAA says we don't want in any way, shape, or form to look like pro football. So you get no preseason games.
Right.
Has it hurt the product?
No.
Maybe touch here and there, but it's not discernible to your eye.
Right.
You never turn on the opening weekend of college football and say, this is a disaster.
Right.
I'm ashamed for them, right? So what are we about to see? Well, we're about to see a bunch of big games get played. On opening weekend, we got Alabama is scheduled. I don't know if they're even going to play, but they're scheduled to play USC at Jerry World. Well, right out of the box, Coach Saban has to say, oh, my God, can I really throw? He's done it year after year.
Yeah.
Can I throw my team onto the field against a talented team and hope it all sort of clicks on day one? It's a complete crapshoot what you're going to get.
Right.
And you don't think he lies awake at night, the night before that game, thinking, I wonder if my quarterback, what's he going to look like under fire on national television?
Right.
You just don't know. He's got a brand new starter at quarterback. Okay, so he deserves to have a scrimmage against Central Florida or somebody, you know, just where you just kind of have a home and home every other year. You get together and just have an afternoon of a scrimmage just to try to figure out what it'll look like for real. So to me, I'm all for it to eliminate. I know there's a lot of money on the table. Obviously, NFL owners, they require your season ticket holders to buy 2 home preseason games for the right to have your season tickets that you purchased for the whole year. Okay? So you're going to lose money. They've already lost a ton of money. And obviously there are mostly local TV rights, but there are some national games in preseason also.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of money to be lost. I'm talking about ensuring the possibility that we have a clean start on September 13th, which is the first big opening Sunday. The previous Thursday night, we got Houston at Kansas City. I want that to happen, and if it requires no preseason games, so be it.
I want them to take that montage down. I just want to know, why are those guys? Where's Lamar Jackson? Where's my homeboy? Where's Russell Wilson? Y'all got Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, and Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers, but he shouldn't be in that montage.
Huh. Well, the only odd man out is Aaron Rodgers.
No, man. That guy on the left. Everybody else got their helmet on. He got his hands on his hips.
Well, you got the GOAT.
With moose in his hair.
You got the GOAT, and number 4 is the highest paid quarterback in pro football.
And it looked like he just sprayed his body with axes or something anyway. Skip Bayless.
I know. He did kind of touch that up, didn't he?
He did. Skip, look, I agree with you. I believe this was the logical move, especially since they're going to add this extra game. Next year in 2021, they're going to add the 17th game.
That's a good point.
So naturally, you pull a game back. Skip, the thing, and I don't know how they came to okay, we're going to cut the first week out and the 4th week out. Skip, look, I remember playing. You play 10 games the first game, then you play about 15, 20, and then you play either to the half or midway through the 3rd quarter in the 3rd preseason game. You take the 4th preseason game off. Skip, I was dog-tired the first preseason game because I'd been off for 2 weeks.
It's a good point.
So basically you're gonna be off 3 weeks. Skip, that's a bye week. So you're getting basically a bye week before the opening day. I think that's too much. I think you should play. Look, if you want to take 2 games out, take 2 games out. But I don't know about taking the 1st and the 4th game out. And I get it. Also, Skip, what was transpiring? Nobody was playing. Nobody was playing their stars. Everybody was sitting out. And fans are like, hold on, wait a minute. You charging me the same price for admission. You charging me the exact same price for concession. And I'm seeing guys that's going to be driving beer trucks and UPS or trucks at the end of the year.
And maybe you're not even seeing them because maybe you bought the ticket and you don't even use it.
Exactly. And you're like, hold on, this is not fair. Skip, for me, I'm sad because I made the team because of 4 preseason games. I wouldn't have made it with 2 preseason games, Skip. I needed every single game. And there's a lot of guys that's like that their chances of making a team is going to be limited now because you're going from 4 to 2 preseason games. But I get it. And for me, Skip, I needed that extra money. That was $1,000 for a preseason game. I was only making, I made $63,000 my rookie year. So I needed that grant. I needed that money. That was rent. Rent was $550 a month.
You probably saved every penny of it.
I had to do a few little, little something, something. You know me. But I'm just saying, Skip, I get it. And the thing is now with those, how are the guys going to get reps to be seen in practice, Skip? Because I got to get everything I'm doing, I got to gear that towards getting my guys ready that I believe that's going to make this team ready for the season. I don't have a chance to look at a guy. Hey, let's look at Sharpe today. Let's see what he got. Skip, I don't have that luxury because everything I got to do is I got to cater that towards getting ready for the season because I'm limited. But I get what the NFL is doing, Skip, but at the end of the day, if these numbers are true, and there's no reason for me to believe that there's not to be true, and you mentioned this is the biggest spike that we've seen, even the first wave, we didn't get this kind of numbers in a given day.
That's what is reported.
That's what's reported. And you look at the states that's spiking. Hey, I'm not an epidemiologist or an infectious disease specialist, but it seems to me the states that open early, Georgia, Florida, Texas. These are the ones that...
And you could throw California in there.
I mean, Gavin Newsom just stated... But you know what happened? And so, Skip, for me, I just thought, Skip, I'm really hopeful that a season takes place. But, Skip, I just don't see how. How, Skip, would end up without a bubble? And then how you get this many people in a bubble? But, Skip, I agree with you. I like the fact that they're trimming it down. But they're trimming it down, Skip, because nobody was playing in the preseason anyway.
Okay.
Your guy didn't even play in the preseason.
Well, I got that. I think he needed to play a little bit the way it turned out. But let me ask you this.
Yes.
What if, just because we're in the middle of a pandemic, what if they say no preseason games, but we are going to try to start on time? September 10th is that Thursday night opener. September 13th is the first big opening weekend, or a Sunday. What if there are no preseason games? How much will it hurt the quote-unquote product on that Thursday night and that Sunday?
I think and early, Skip, if you remember, if you watch the games closely, Skip, the first couple of weeks of the season is nothing like the middle or the end of the season. Because now the guys have gotten into a rhythm. Because in the preseason, there's not a whole lot of your starters playing. Your starters might play, what did Tom Brady play? Like 10 plays, 20 plays? And and that's what we're seeing from most of the guys. Your running backs, your star running backs are not playing at all. You're trying to take all the wear off their body because you're going to put that wear on them during the regular season. And we started seeing fewer and fewer stars. But, Skip, I just don't know how this is going to work, that you got the first and the fourth weeks off, and then you got 2 weeks in the middle. Still, the guy's still not going to play. Guys not going to play the stars because I don't want my guy to get hurt. And that's what we're starting to see. When I played, Skip, starters played. You played in the preseason. I mean, sometimes you played until the fourth quarter in the preseason game. There was none of this stuff, you off this week, and you get a couple of plays. No, sir.
I've also seen stars get hurt in the preseason. I remember as a little kid, the great Roger Staubach broke his collarbone in a silly preseason game against the Rams. I think it was their second, and that was in the days they played 5 or 6 preseason games. I believe they played 6.
But, Skip, the NFL's like, the owner's like, hold on, that's revenue, Skip. Because I charge you the exact same thing to get in here in the concession. And I'm paying, because just imagine, Russell Wilson makes $35 million. Russell Wilson gets $1,500, I think, a game in the preseason. That's a pretty good trade-off, Skip, because ticket prices are the exact, it is not like they charge 50 cents for tickets, as opposed to...
It's almost like you have to buy a seat license to be able to buy your real game season tickets. So you have to pay for these two, whether you want them or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
No mercy.
Many feel that the signing of Cam Newton restored the Patriots as the strongest team in the AFC East. But a rival coach reportedly thinks there's a chance Cam won't even be their starting quarterback. The coach also said he knows for a fact that the Patriots, quote, love Jared Stidham. Shannon, Can you see Stidham winning the starting job in this scenario?
Oh, I think I mentioned that Monday, Skip. I can really see Jerry Stidham starting week 1 because, Skipper, he has a decided an advantage. He has a year head start, and he knows the playbook, no OTAs, no mini camps. And remember, Skip, they're going to cut the preseason. So that would have been Cam's opportunity to actually play in the game and get some playing times. Now, I don't know how much you leave Cam in there with, a whole lot of backups. And that's normally what happens, Skip. The starter normally only played with starters. They were not putting John Elway in the game, Skip. No. We're back up. As long as the starters was in, there was a good chance John, myself, and the other guys would be in the game. And then when we came out, obviously the backups would go into the ball game. So there's a great chance that Jared Stidham starts week 1. I said my surprise would be that if he's starting week 17, that at some point in time during the season, 4, 5, 6 games into the season, unless Jared Stidham is blowing everybody away, they're winning these games. I don't see how Cam, because he's much more talented than Jared Stidham, and he should be up to speed, say, at no later than a month into the season, Skip. I would be surprised if Cam doesn't take this job over and finish the season out as the starter.
Jared Stidham has started 0 NFL games.
0.
Jared Stidham in his second and final year at Auburn wasn't very good. He lost his confidence. He lost his poise. He basically lost his way because he lost his accuracy and his effectiveness. He's an athletic kid with I'll say above average arm. It's a very good arm.
Right.
Not a cannon, but a good arm.
Right.
And you could project him out if he can sort of work through all of his problems at Auburn, which weren't all his fault.
Right.
Then maybe you have something. But do you have Tom Brady? Do you have the next diamond in the rough, this one out of the 4th round?
No.
Cam Newton has played 9 years of NFL football at a supremely high level. The last 4 weren't nearly as good as the first 5 because he was beat up and so were they.
Right.
And so he went 23-23 over his last 4 years. But he had flashes of not just goodness, of greatness over those 4 years. So can he flip the switch now healthy back to 2015? It's certainly possible. So it's preposterous for me to think that Cam couldn't catch up enough to run what I would think would be a new playbook of plays.
Right.
Because Josh McDaniels now has a new responsibility, which I think a new challenge, which he will embrace, which is, can I figure out a Cam offense?
Right.
Again, there have been numerous reports that the offense was going to change a little bit, if not a lot, even if Tom Brady had stayed. Because he was, quote unquote, limited at age 43.
Hey, Skip, I don't know who said it, but I happen to agree with it.
Yeah, you happen to have said that 1,000 times on this show. So the point is, it was hard for me to see Jared Stidham starting game 1 and then giving way to Cam in game 2 because the whole offense is going to have to change. They're polar opposite kinds of quarterbacks.
Yes.
So you have to have a whole different approach for Cam than you would have for Jared Stidham.
Right.
Now back to this quote in question, the anonymous quote. When I read it last evening, it rang a bell with me because it resonated in the back of my mind like, oh, wow, that's true. What did we hear from report after report after report out of New England over the last 4 to 5 months? We heard that Belichick loved Jared Stidham, and he was, damn the torpedoes, I'm going forward with Jared Stidham as my starting quarterback. Well, is it possible that didn't change? Is it possible that all of a sudden Cam, because of the market dried completely up, became completely available to a coach with little to no salary cap room left, and Cam was willing to accept a deal that pays him barely over $1 million base. It's $1.05 million base. That ranks Cam as the 908th highest paid player in the league. 908 for an MVP, former MVP. That ranks him as the 58th highest paid quarterback in the National Football League on just base salary alone. He has an incentive package that could get him to 7.5. But you have to play X number of snaps, and you have to do X number of things.
You got to win and throw touchdowns and go to Pro Bowls and all that.
You got to be productive.
Yes.
Is it possible that Belichick said, well, I've got this young quarterback, and I think he's going to be good, but I don't know that for a fact. What if for a year I ease him into the fray by I'll start him, I'll make him my quote-unquote franchise quarterback, but I will play Cam Newton X plays a game in Cam packages that will be explicitly geared toward Cam. I don't know if you want to call them wildcat, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
These will be our Cam plays. What if Belichick's already decided, hey, Jarrett will start every game until he fails and loses the job.
Right.
But that Cam will be an even better Taysom Hill in New Orleans.
Right.
Maybe a much better, obviously, Jalen Hurts. I don't know exactly what he's going to do in Philadelphia, but maybe they're going to be Jalen Hurts packages, right?
Well, Skip, I think we both agreed there had to be some level of that Coach Belichick thought a lot of Jarrett Stidham. He gave him a nickname, which he never gave Tom. Tom. And for him to make this leap, Skip, he got rid. I mean, basically, he was like, okay, I'm good. Because he could have easily said, you know what, Tom? We like Jarrett Stidham, but we think he's a couple of years away. So instead of just doing this one-year deal, we'll give you a 2-year deal. So this year, year 21, Tom would have been in New England and said, okay, now Stidham's ready because he's had 2 years in the system. But that's not what he did. He must have a lot of confidence in Jarrett Stidham that he can get the job done. Now, I don't bring Cam on, and if it doesn't happen, I feel comfortable. I have a veteran quarterback that's played a lot of games, played at a high level for a number of years, a former MVP. So I have that to fall back on. But there's no question in my mind. He thinks the world of Jarrett Stidham. And it's up to Jarrett Stidham to make sure he continues that belief in him. Because, look, the thing that Coach Belichick value more, his loyalty is to winning. Not to a particular player, Skip. I think he's shown you that over the years. He values winning more than a particular player. So if Jarrett Stidham is winning, Jarrett Stidham's going to keep this job. If he's not, he's going to Cam Newton, and then it's up to Cam to say, okay, this is my job now. I'm going to show the world why Coach Belichick gave me this opportunity.
Okay. So what is happening right now? We have a huge ego clash between the quote-unquote GOAT coach and the obvious GOAT quarterback.
Yes.
We have a race to see who can win the first Super Bowl without the other guy.
The Lombardi finish line.
Okay, Lombardi finish line. And Tom's got an opportunity to become the first team ever to play in a home Super Bowl because this one's in his stadium.
Right.
So Belichick has to be saying, what would be the most impressive way for me to get to a Super Bowl that would just close my case? Well, it'd be if I took a 4th-round pick, like Tom was the 6th, and I said, I picked him in the 4th round, diamond in the rough. I found him when nobody else really wanted him. And I'm letting him, I'm going to show him, I'm going to teach him how to be the quarterback, the cog in my system that lifts us to the next Super Bowl. That would be a case closer against Brady because people would say, the genius did it again. He did it with somebody else, another nobody, right?
You and I both know the likelihood of him finding another Hall of Fame quarterback. That doesn't happen.
Okay, well, you don't think that's in the back of his mind?
Of course it is. Of course it is. But it's reported that Colonel Sanders, Skip, he sold the original recipe to KFC for $2 million because he said, you know what, hey, I discovered that when I found another one.
And then what happened?
He never found another one.
Interesting. Okay, well, I don't think Belichick will ever find another one either. But if let's just say, what if Cam starts game 1 and they take off and Bill has to sort of seed the team up to Cam where it becomes Cam's show, Cam's team.
Right.
Cam is doing his Superman and he is MVP this year.
Bad.
Okay, well, what does it make Belichick look like? Well, people would say, well, Cam's an MVP. You know, like he got to a Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers. He went 15-1 before. It would take away some of the credit that Bill Belichick would get with Jarrett Stidham.
Skip, can you imagine, be it Cam or Jarrett Stidham, if they have success, what that would do to Coach Belichick? Because remember, when Jimmy Garoppolo plays well, he gets text messages. That's not even on his team. That's not even for him.
Text from Coach Belichick saying, way to go.
So can you, and now he's doing that for another team. Coach Belichick gets nothing out of that except to say, see, I knew. I told you that guy could do that. So imagine these guys. Skip, they win 10 games.
Okay, but Cam doesn't give him nearly as much credit as Stid.
Because he picked that guy. I mean, it's just something about that's my baby.
That's why I'm starting to think this quote had to come from, again, it came from an AFC East head coach. I don't think Sean McDermott said it. I could be wrong. Maybe Adam Gase. It could be
Flores.
obviously Brian Flores. coached under Belichick for what was it, like 9 years?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he would have deep throat
Intimate knowledge,
contacts.
yep.
Yes. So if it came from Brian Flores, I'm taking it to the bank. I think we might have missed the boat here. Stidham might just be the starting quarterback.
I just got a feeling they're going to be saying in Boston, they're going to be saying, Cam, woo, Cam.
You think so?
Yep.
No mercy.
Major League Baseball is back, and the season will begin. Will be on Fox, returning July 25th with Fox Saturday Baseball, and we could not be more excited about this great news for baseball fans across the country. Baseball is back, and of course, America's home for baseball this summer, as always, will be Fox and FS1. Tom Brady only got to play one game with Antonio Brown in 2019, but he might be pushing for his new team to give AB another chance. NFL Network reports that the two have had, quote, continued contact. So, Shannon, can you see AB playing for Tampa this season?
I don't think it's a very, very, very minute chance. I think there's zero chance. I don't see them putting AB with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Skip. AB has worked out with a lot of quarterbacks this offseason. He's worked out with Russell Wilson, Dwayne
He just posted Russell Wilson yesterday.
Right.
Catching.
Dwayne Haskins. He's worked out with Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. And plus, Skip, the unknown. There's still this thing called a suspension that's out there. What good is you signing him not knowing if you're going to be able to have him for the 2020 season? I don't know anybody that's signing players for 2021 when 2020 season haven't even happened yet, Skip. I'm not saying AB doesn't deserve another chance. That's for the commissioner to decide and what transpired with this still pending litigation.
Yep.
And so with that being said, Skip, and Bruce Arians, this is what Bruce Arians said when he was asked about AB signing in March. He's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. There's no room, and it's probably not enough money, but it's not going to happen. It's not a fit here. What transpired? Did Edwards and Godwin get worse from March to now? I just don't see the fit there. I'm not saying he doesn't fit somewhere. Maybe Seattle might be a good fit, but I don't see the fit in Tampa, so I'm going to say there's zero chance that actually happens.
Okay, let's start with Tom Brady. This tells you everything you need to know about Tom Brady as a leader, because I always told you I worked with so many ex-Patriots at ESPN who sang nothing but praises of Tom Brady in the locker room. I never heard one negative word about Tom Brady as the leader of the locker room, because he went out of his way to connect with 1 through 53 players.
Right.
And it was real in that it was lasting. He still, when he sees ex-teammates, they all say it's a little crazy, but he'll come up and kiss you on the cheek. That's how close he is to everybody he played with. So in this case, he went out of his way, obviously, to click with AB, and they really clicked. And it was real because it wasn't fleeting. It's lasted because they have kept in touch. And I believe it's out of Brady's heart, even though I also believe he would love to throw footballs in a real football game to AB again, because you saw what happened in that minute that they played together, right?
Against Miami.
A lot happened, and a touchdown happened. He caught 4 balls for, what was it, 53 yards and a touchdown. Okay, so I'm just going to do the hypothetical. Let's just say, hypothetically, that somehow...
What opening day was the second game because they played...
The second game, that's right, yeah. Let's just say that Antonio gets suspended for 8 games. I'm just throwing something out. And I have no idea. You're right. He might not play again, given what's hanging over his head.
Right.
So, but let's say they just say, okay, you're docked 8 games. You can come back in week 9. Let's say that Brady, who by all accounts has been chipping away at Arians and Jason Light and people in Tampa about, hey, I love this guy. And if he comes here, I believe in him, and I believe he will stay within the confines of our system in the locker room. I believe he will not be a disruption and distraction for us.
Right.
Because he wasn't in the brief time that he was in New England.
Right.
Okay. You tell me, if you put, I keep raving about little Scotty Miller, whom nobody knows, but they might, because he might be the next Edelman/Amendola for Tom Brady out at the slot. I believe he was a 7th-round pick out of Bowling Green. Last year he was rookie. This will be his 2nd year. But what if you put AB in the slot in place of Scotty Miller, and you've got 2 Pro Bowlers on the outside, and you got Gronk, you got O.J. Howard, and you got Cameron Brate? You got record-setting. You have indefensible, because I don't even know how you would pick the open. Everybody would get open because you could double almost nobody because you would have to account so much for all 5 receivers out in every pattern.
This is the luxury that Bruce Arians has that no other coach that could potentially coach AB has. He's coached him before. He had him in Pittsburgh.
And he said he didn't love him.
Thank you.
Okay, he did. Okay,
now,
I got that.
Skip, that was early in his career. That was before the 600 catch seasons. That was before the All-Pros. That was before the Pro Bowls.
Yep.
That's when everybody says he changed. So if he was that, when he was just a guy, can you imagine? Skip, that doesn't go, Skip, let me tell you something. Having played in this league for a long period of time, once you enjoy success, that never leaves you. You still believe you're that guy, even though as you start to slow down. And see, AB has been the guy. Skip, look how he acted when Juju got team MVP, when Juju had more catches. Skip, he lost his mind. Now you got 2 guys, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, like, well, hold on, wait a damn minute. We ain't fettuccine. We good. We made the Pro Bowl last year without him.
Winning can cure all that.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay, it can make fettuccine feel like 5-star restaurant.
Wait a minute. Can it? Tom Brady said he wasn't having fun. He won 6 titles. Now, which is it?
It's fun to win.
I can't tell.
Hey, if all of a sudden records are falling in Tampa like snow in Foxborough, like 2007 snow in Foxborough, records are falling, you're annihilating everybody, all of a sudden you would have as explosive an offense as we have ever seen. And it could be a lot of fun to be even a small part of that offense. If Tom Brady feels like he can sort of manage AB's emotions, and I don't know, a lot of people have, AB reportedly has been seeing some kind of therapist. I don't know. Can Tom help manage his emotions that can run away with him and run amok? I don't know, maybe.
Skip, when guys, Chris Godwin is starting to branch out, people are starting to talk about him as one of the top receivers.
He is.
Mike Evans is like, so hold on. Now you mean to tell me, now I've already got a share. I got another guy. You throw him 85, 90 balls. You got to throw me 85, 90 balls. Now I'm going to throw a guy. You're going to throw a guy in the mix that's used to getting at least 150 targets a season?
Okay, that dynamic overwhelmed and crushed young Baker Mayfield last year in Cleveland, his second year as a starter, really his first full season as a starter. It would not crush the psyche of Tom Brady. Tom could figure that out. And I'm going to ask you a question. Who wields more power now in the Tampa organization, Bruce Arians or Tom Brady?
Bruce.
Totally disagree.
Bruce.
You got the GOAT. You got the GOAT at 2 years guaranteed $25 million.
I don't care how prized the GOAT is. The farmer is in charge of the farm. He's in charge. And we'll see. How about 2 cases do they don't sign AB?
No, I mean, it's a long shot, but I'm just saying there's a shot. Hey, I would bet you 1,000 cases that Tom Brady right now would like to sign AB.
Oh, he politicking.
He is politicking behind the scenes.
Ain't no question about that.
Okay, now, I hate to bring all this up, but for the sake of this discussion, we have no choice. Let's reiterate what AB is facing, what the commissioner is now investigating, looking deeply into.
Now, he settled one of those.
Okay, well, the first one was he recently was sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading no contest to the battery case that was filed against him involving the moving van driver. Remember that one?
Right.
He beat him up. I don't know what happened exactly, but anyway, he got mad at him. He lost it. He punched him. Whatever happened, he got 2 years probation, so that's done.
Right.
But when we're talking about conduct unbecoming in the National Football League, it qualifies as very...
But he's going to probably get some suspension for that, Skip.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay, now, still pending is a civil suit in which a woman has accused AB of sexual misconduct and rape. And by the way, just for the record, he has now countersued that woman.
Right.
Okay, but last year, as you remember, via Sports Illustrated, another woman came forward, an artist who had done some work for AB, who also accused him of sexual misconduct. And then allegedly, AB threatened her like maybe that next night
Right.
via group text, which hastened his departure in New England.
Right.
Am I right about
Yes.
that? Okay, so that is all hanging over his head right now.
Right.
The NFL reportedly continues to investigate. I don't know how the Glazer family, who owns and sometimes operates the Buccaneers, who preside over the Buccaneers, how would they react to this kind of charge against Antonio, even if he's eventually cleared of it?
And all those, Skip, the reports that they're investigating, I can assure you that's been on the back burner, considering that COVID is going on, and they got bigger issues in 2020 than worrying about AB.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, it's on the back burner, but I don't know how close it's to the front burner of something being discussed in the league's office, because they got a lot of bigger fish to fry right now.
So to your point, is it possible AB's career is virtually over? It's possible, yeah. It's possible he won't play again. But again, if he served a half a year suspension, is it also possible he would wind up a Buccaneer? Well, if he's going to play anywhere, I got a feeling that Tom Brady will make sure it's in Tampa.
I would say probably Seattle.
Maybe.
Washington definitely could need some help.
Yeah, they need a lot of help. And that's fine with me as a Cowboy fan. So, yeah. I don't want to see AB in Washington. Thank you.
Why not?
Well, he's still really good. He is dynamic.
Yeah.
No mercy.
The Cowboys officially have 2 weeks left on the clock to finalize a long-term contract extension with Dak Prescott. But according to Ryan Clark, the situation is already very telling. He said, quote, when you have a franchise guy, you don't get to this point. When you have a franchise guy, you don't risk this. So, Shannon, is this the beginning of the end for Dak in Dallas?
I definitely think it's created bad blood, Skip, and I agree with Ryan is that, Skip, normally we don't see quarterbacks get to this level, especially if you believe in them. Now, we saw a situation in Washington with Kirk Cousins. They didn't believe in him. And that's why they keep doing it, Skip. And I don't care what anybody tells you. When they put the tag on you, they're betting against you. They're betting that you can't do what you did the previous season. They're betting you can't do it again. They were so convinced that Kirk Cousins' season was a fluke. Guess what, Skip? They put the tag on him. And then when he played well, they say, you can't do that again. He did it again. And so they say, you know what? It's just cost prohibitive for us. We got to let you walk. And that's why I'm afraid, because it's like the Cowboys look at it like, yeah, he's good, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. Well, damn, nobody's Patrick Mahomes. You're talking about something we had probably never seen before, Skip Bayless, and a guy that had this level of success this early in the season as a true young player. Now, Kurt Warner had success like this, Skip, but Kurt Warner was like 28, 29 years of age. This kid's like 22. So I agree. And look, he's won 2 titles, 2 division titles, Skip. He's won Rookie of the Year. I don't really know what you're going to really ask more of him. Yeah, sure, you'd love to see a situation where he gets to like Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl. But, Skip, you look at what Russell had around him from a defensive perspective, and they were a running team with beast mode. It's different than what Dallas, because Dallas last year morphed into a team that they really put the ball in Dak's hand, considering that they fell behind in so many games trying to establish the run. Skip, I'm a firm believer in this. If you don't know what you have after 4 years, you're never going to know what you have. Skip, it's almost like a relationship, you know, the girls say, well, you know what, if you meet my family, we can get serious. Okay, I go meet a family. Well, if you get a haircut, Skip, I cut my hair. If you go to church with me, I go to church with her. And she keep giving me all these things I need to do, and she ain't ready to commit. At some point in time, Skip, I got to wise up. So you know what? I'm going to start going back to the club. I'm going to start hanging out with my homeboy, and I'm going to let my hair grow out again, and I ain't going back to church with you. That's it. So Dak, at some point in time, Dak going to say, you know what, cowboy? Later for y'all. Jenny, stop laughing. I know you over there laughing, Jenny.
I'm going to leave all the Dr. Love stuff alone for now. I want to make this statement up front. Trust me on this. Jerry Jones believes far more in Dak Prescott than Dan Snyder ever believed in Kirk Cousins. Trust me on that. That is a truism. My friend Ryan Clark at ESPN says, when you have a franchise guy, you don't let it get to this point. Well, the Hall of Famer across from me has taught me 2 things can be true. You do have a franchise guy. Yeah. But it got to this point because you do believe in him, and you do want to make him right here, right now, the highest paid player in all of pro football. But the problem is he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes, and his agent also believes he's Patrick Mahomes. So they want so much money that when Patrick Mahomes does get paid, which could be sooner than later, they don't want their deal to get rendered obsolete, as in, wait a second, Patrick got that much more? They want so much right here, right now from Jerry Jones that it will remain competitive with Mahomes' money when he gets his money. That's hard to do because...
And Deshaun.
Okay, and Deshaun, which isn't quite going to be Mahomes' money. But again, Patrick Mahomes was just the MVP of the Super Bowl. He won an MVP, period, end of story. He's already done that at whatever age he is. I don't even know what he is, 23 or 22, whatever he is. Okay, gotcha. You got me on that one. But Jerry's saying, Dak, I can't give you $40+ million because I'm betting too much money on what you're going to be. I think you're going to be good, but you're right now 1-2 in the postseason. Right now, all I know about what you did for me last year was we went 8-8 and you missed the Pro Bowl. You didn't make it for you made 2 of them, but you didn't make it last year. And going into last year, all the NFL players voted on the top 100. These are all player votes. And Dak, you didn't even make the top 100 going into last season. And that was coming off a Pro Bowl year and a year in which we actually won 1 playoff game and came close to winning a second one out here in L.A. against the Rams. But last year, you didn't validate it with another great year. It was a very good year. It was a big statistical year, but to the Hall of Famers' point, they kept falling behind, and there were a lot of empty-calorie garbage yards thrown for in fourth quarters against Green Bay and at Chicago that probably shouldn't count in the biggest picture of how you're evaluating how you're going to pay that man number 4. I remain a huge fan of him on and off the field. But again, when it's $40 million, two things can be true. He's your franchise guy, but you can't completely overpay him because is he that guy? Is he Patrick Mahomes? So here's what I think Jerry decided. Okay, young man, I have the ability, thanks to the collective bargaining agreement that you signed off on, I have the power to say, I tag you, you're it. But you get tagged at a high rate. You get $31.4 million. And if I turn around and tag you again next year, you get $37 million. That's pretty good money, right?
Yep.
You're very well paid. Jerry's saying, I'm going to pay you very well to show me in either this coming year or the second year that you're tagged that you can take us on a deep playoff run, maybe a Super Bowl run. And if you do that, all bets are off. I'll give you Mahomes money.
Right.
That's what Jerry's saying to a guy that I believe he does love to a point. He is a franchise quarterback. You do want to build. I always tell you, he's my 10th ranked quarterback. He's just barely in the top 10. Well, that's pretty good. Out of 32 teams, he's the 10th best quarterback. I want to keep him. I don't want to see him walk. But by the same token, what have I always told you from the start about my history watching tagged players? Never seems to work out.
It does.
It's bad blood on both sides. You don't trust me. I don't trust you.
Right.
You know, I'm suspicious. You're suspicious. I'm wary. You're wary. It doesn't feel right.
Yep.
And you're kind of playing in spite of each other. You're looking side-eyed at each other, right?
Yep.
So it's the beginning of the end usually when you tag somebody. It means that at some point they're probably going to hit the market.
Yep.
And maybe in 2 years he hits the market. But if he hits the lottery, as in gets to or wins the Super Bowl, I think Jerry then says, okay, break the bank for this young man. It's time to pay him.
Whatever will going to happen because he's going to break the bank. Because, Skip, the thing is that Dak says, you know what? You never gave Tony Romo this kind of hassle by getting his money. You made him the highest paid, and nobody thought Tony Romo. And look what I've done. I was Rookie of the Year, won your 2 divisions right out the box.
Okay. I don't think Tony Romo was asking for the kind of money that Dak is asking for now.
He didn't have anything. They redid his contract. He didn't even ask for his contract, wasn't even up. At least Dak says, you know what? I done got all the way in the house. I done sat down. I done did everything you've asked me to do, Jay. I done cut the grass. I've done everything. I washed the car. I've done everything.
Well, has he done? He hasn't done everything.
Everything.
He's won 1 playoff game in 4 years.
If somebody would have told you a 4th-round draft pick that was going to come in and he was going to have the success, what 4th rounder you know done that?
All I know is the Hall of Famer across from me, nearly every game last year, he gave Dak Prescott an F, as in failed. And that's what Jerry's saying. Well, Shannon Sharpe thinks he's a...
Let me ask you a question. Who's the better quarterback, Andrew Luck or Dak Prescott. Because Andrew Luck don't have that on his resume. Andrew Luck ain't got that, what he got. This dude, rookie of the year, won in 2 divisions.
Andrew Luck said no mas. He just said, I quit. I can't do it anymore.
They beat him down.
Okay. Well, I think I'm sticking with number 4.
And that's what I'm saying, Skip.
Yeah.
Go on and get that man, Jared.
Okay, give him what? Remember, on the table, reportedly right now, is enough that would make him the highest paid quarterback or player in all of pro football.
I do not want to be in Jared Goff's bracket when it comes to guaranteed money. I need to be higher. And you know what, Skip? You see that big old board they got? And SoFi? They got a video board that's the whole length of the football field. 2.2 million pounds.
Okay. So?
Y'all got one of them boards, too. Jared should open it up during playoff season so y'all can watch other teams play in the playoff because y'all won't be there.
Okay, well, so if we're not going to be there, then Dak doesn't deserve money.
Whoa, they got to do that.
You just said. Game over.
Your defense. You got, oh, look at all the high dollar defense you got. You got Gerald McCoy now, and you got D-Law. You got Jalen.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's going to be much better.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, you got CD. CD. We got CD. Come this season, you know what I'm going to see? I'm going to see the L's pile up.
Really?
That's the CD I'm going to see. CD L's pile up. L, CD, CD, L.
Really? I'll take CD over AD any day. As in Laker AD. I'll take
you
it.
Better stop
Yes,
it.
I will.
Yeah, you better stop it. You ought to stop.
What do you have against CD Lamb, Shannon? Like, where did that come from? Come on.
CDL.
You don't even know what you're missing right now. And we will, Skip and I, remind you of that this season.
mercy.
According to Sports Illustrated, of the winners and losers in the Cam Newton signing, Tom Brady is one of the losers because, naturally, everyone wants to be missed when they leave, but signing a former MVP and Super Bowl QB as Brady's successor could help Pats fans get over him real quick. So, Shannon, do you think Belichick's signing of Cam and all the publicity it really generated bothers Tom Brady?
Yeah, Skip, I think, look. Come on, baby. Skip, if you break up with somebody, you don't want them to get somebody more successful than you.
See, here we go again.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You don't want your ex to get someone. You don't want her to level up. You want them to struggle. You like, yeah, y'all left. Yeah, you thought you were gonna be better with me, and look at you, 4-12. You don't want them to be 10-6, 11-5, and make the playoffs. You want them to struggle. You don't think Joe Montana wanted San Francisco to struggle, Skip? Lo and behold, they won a Super Bowl a couple of years after he left. Same thing with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Skip, I want you to struggle. Dan Marino's like, yeah, I've been gone since 2000. Y'all ain't got a quarterback to replace me yet. It's been 2 decades. He's sitting good. Skip, I don't want you to have an immediate success. I'm not saying that, once I retire, a little bad blood, it settles down, Skip, you have success. I can go back there, yeah, man, y'all doing good. But not right afterwards, Skip. I mean, no, that's Skip, that's just human nature to think that, oh, yeah, sure, I would love for them to go. So let me ask you a question. You think Tom Brady want them to go to the Super Bowl?
I don't think he cares.
Yeah, he cares. Yeah. You better stop it, Skip Bayless. No. So now all of a sudden he's having fun, but he don't care. Nah, Skip Bayless, it's only natural. That's a natural reaction.
He obviously wants to beat Belichick to a Super Bowl, but how the Patriots get there is no worry of Tom Brady.
Yes, it does. No, Skip, that means the quarterback is playing extremely well if you get to a Super Bowl and that Tom Brady played quarterback. And so if they were to get to the Super Bowl, Tom Brady doesn't look, Skip, it's just human nature. That's just the way we're wired. Hey, look, I don't care. I get it. You might, after a while, Skip, because it's still so fresh now, a year or 2 times past, Skip, it hurt. Man, better stop playing. You act like, you know what, Skip, but this is what I don't like about you. You pretend like you ain't never been in no relationship. Skip, the relationship, let me tell you how relationships work. If you leave...
I haven't been in a relationship.
Yeah, you act like you have
too many to count.
Yeah, you ain't too many to count. Skip,
you have no idea what you're talking about.
But here's the thing. Skip, if you break up with somebody, you're like, okay, yeah, I did that. But when they do it to you...
I want them to get somebody great.
No,
because I picked them in the first place, and I think that somebody else should pick them who would measure up to me.
Greater.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want them to get greater than you. Okay, Skip.
Well, who can be?
Let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, baby, you an English mate.
Yeah.
You English, got an English degree. You right, and you love authors. You love great ones. Okay, she was dating, and let's just say for the sake of argument, it was around the time, and she started dating Faulkner. or she started dating Shakespeare, and she left David Frost. Oh, Skip Bayless. Oh, what you gonna do, Skip? You happy? No, I didn't think so.
Shakespeare did not know sports. He didn't.
He was a writer, though.
Okay. And he was the greatest one. Okay, I hear everything you're saying, but this is so different because if you look back at Montana and Steve Young was on the rise. He was not a good player. He was a great player in the United States Football League.
He won the MVP right up on the joke.
He was, okay? So he's in position, and he's 6 years younger. What do you think the 49ers are going to say? Joe, you know, you're the greatest at that point. He was the GOAT at that point. But we can trade you to Kansas City, and we can get something back, and we can elevate Steve Young. Well, all Steve Young did was go to the Hall of Fame, right? So they were correct. Aaron Rodgers could have been the first pick in the draft. A lot of people thought he would have been the first pick in the draft, but he fell all the way to 24. Green Bay snatched him there, and the rest is history. And he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Okay, so you can't fault that or doubt that or second guess any of that, right?
Right.
Who else? What are other, were there a replacement? My point is, this is completely polar opposite because Cam had a hard time the last 4 years. He did win the MVP, and he elevated a 15-1 team to the Super Bowl, and he had an all-time great year that year. But since then, he's been battered. He's had 2 surgeries. They've been beat up. He's struggled. He's 23-23 as a starter over his last 46 games. And the point is that Tom Brady isn't threatened by the signing of Cam Newton. Again, you say, what if they go to the Super Bowl? What are the odds on that? The team isn't very good. The offense isn't very good. See Tom Brady last year. So if Cam can lift this offense, I don't even know if he's going to be the starter to start with, but if he can lift this offense to the Super Bowl, he will be the MVP of this league, especially against the hardest schedule in this league.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, Skip, if Tom Brady, let's say Tom Brady had left New England, and there's a period, say 5, 10 years, before they find another quarterback, that's one thing. But all of a sudden, it's kind of like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning leaves, and then they replace him with Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck gets off to a great start.
The first pick in the draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets off to a great start.
I got that one. I'll give you that one. Okay, but wait a minute to you, because Tom Brady went to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them and easily could have won a couple more. You can argue he could have lost a couple, but he definitely could have won a couple more.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. But then Cam gets there, or Stidham wins a Super Bowl. Now, all of a sudden, it diminishes Tom because it's like, well, Tom, it wasn't you. It was Belichick.
Tom Brady is already the most beloved athlete in the history of Boston, Massachusetts.
You're not getting debate. You're not getting any debate from me.
You got Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, Big Papi with the Red Sox.
Larry Bird.
You got Bobby Orr with the Bruins. You got Bird and Mr. Russell, as in Bill Russell, with the Celtics. But he just eclipsed all of them because it's hard to compete with 9 Super Bowls. Right. So my point is, let's say Cam, in a 1,000,000,000 to 1 goes out with this roster and wins a Super Bowl, and he wins MVP. Will that make him more beloved in Boston than Tom Brady? I don't think so. I mean,
no, hell no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So is Tom Brady losing any sleep about Bill Belichick signing Cam Newton?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying he will be more beloved. Hell, Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl in Denver. He ain't John Elway.
No.
No,
but he was pretty great.
He was great. He won an MVP.
I thought he should have won 2 MVPs.
Yeah, and he could have. Tom has 20 years. So whomever comes, you can win. You're not going to be beloved like that.
Okay, look, I love Cam Newton, but the truth is he's 3-4 in the postseason.
Right.
And he got to 1 Super Bowl, and he stunk it up. He just got outplayed.
Right.
Because the defense was just too good.
Yeah.
They couldn't block Von Miller, so Von Miller was all over him all day long.
Block anybody.
Huh?
They sacked him 7 times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not condemning Cam for that, but he had a rough day.
Yeah.
So he's 0-1 in a Super Bowl.
I want you to hurt. I don't want you to be all gallivanting around and on the red carpet taking pictures with your new thing. Well, I want you to be hurting.
Tom Brady's got a new thing.
No, I want you to be in the hot line.
He's got a hot new young thing.
Shannon, I want you to call me.
Tom Brady is living in Derek Jeter's mansion on the beach.
Whatever.
He's got 2 Pro Bowl receivers on either side. He's got his man Gronk back. He's got 2 of the greatest offensive minds in the history of this league. overseeing his offense. You don't think he's in football heaven?
Well, Cam living in a Coach Belichick place in Nantucket. He over there in Nantucket.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
He's top that one.
Have fun. It's hot and sticky up there, too.
Right? What you think Tampa's like?
I know what Tampa's like.
Exactly.
But I'll take Tampa over Nantucket. That just I'm sorry. A lot of people disagree. I will take Tampa.
Oh,
I love Tampa.
My glory days back in college. Pretending I was living the life on Nantucket. And I agree, Shannon, I do not want my ex to date a supermodel. That doesn't happen with anyone. I'm learning so much from you guys. It's just eye-opening. Appreciate it.
No mercy.
Australian tennis star Nick Kyrgios is a die-hard LeBron fan. In a recent interview, he said the king is underrated and underappreciated, adding, quote, he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. In year 17, he's the best player in the league. That's unheard of. We're taking LeBron for granted. So, Shannon, did you just become a Nick Kyrgios fan here?
Yep, you heard it. You heard what he said, Skip. The thunder from down under.
Oh, is that what he is now? Okay. Yeah.
Skip, look, I love his game. He has the game, Skip, to be better, a lot better than what he is. But he need to cut down on the antics. He cannot control his emotions. He's a lot like Johnny Mac. And I don't know how many people, John McEnroe, you remember John McEnroe.
Do I?
His antics were exactly like that. So was Eli Nastasi. But Skip, he's right. LeBron James is underrated, Skip. I don't recall, because I'm old enough to remember when Larry Bird and Magic came into the league. And I don't remember when Larry Bird had a great game, they said, well, Jerry West would have done better than that. Or when Magic had a great game, they said, well, Oscar would have had a triple-double in that. But that's what we get for LeBron. LeBron does something, and the first things out of people's mouths, well, Kobe and Michael would have had like 75 points. We don't appreciate it. And Skip, that happens a lot. I think when, great artists or great painters along, I think we just take them for granted and like, oh, well, anybody can do that. And they can't. They can't. And for him to be in year 17, nobody's been the best player in the league in year 17. In no sport, maybe Barry Bonds. But Skip, he's in uncharted waters. Uncharted. And to win a championship in year 17 and be the MVP in year 17 might even be in year 18. Win the championship this year and win the title, win a MVP this year, next year. The end.
So now we're going to have to do Nick Kyrgios topics on this show every day, right?
I like
because
Nick Kyrgios.
He's the tennis GOAT, because he thinks LeBron is the basketball GOAT, right? At least I got a good laugh out of this. And, I started thinking last night, maybe Nick sort of identifies with LeBron because both of them crumble on big stages.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because Nick's gotten to the quarters at Wimbledon and the Aussie Open. That was 14 and 15. He got to the quarters, but that's about as far as he's gone.
I promise you, if McEnroe, if Edberg, if Sampras, Agassi, all those guys was going up against the big three, Joker, Federer, Nadal, I guarantee you, they crumble too.
So, Nick Kyrgios says that LeBron is underappreciated and over-criticized.
Yep.
Interesting. He also says LeBron is obviously the greatest player of all time. I don't know, maybe down in Australia, wherever he lives, or I think he has a home in the Bahamas. Maybe they don't get ESPN there, so maybe he missed The Last Dance. He was only 3 years old in 1998, Michael Jordan's last year and the Last Dance year in Chicago. And maybe he just tuned all that out. I don't know, but just for those who might have missed The Last Dance, Jordan went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. LeBron is now 3-6 in the NBA Finals. 3-6.
About to be 4.
Really? He's not even going to get to this year's finals because he's got a big obstacle named Kawhi Leonard. We're going to talk about him in just a moment.
There ain't no obstacle.
But the point is that LeBron James is obviously become the most overprotected and under-criticized superstar ever.
That would be Tom Brady.
As Dan Gilbert once wrote in the open letter after the decision, it's time to quit giving this man a pass. As Kevin Durant said 2 years ago about LeBron James, it's the fanboy media that protects him. And it feels to me like the fanboy media has actually scrubbed his internet resume clean of all those epic fails that happened in order for 4 straight years. If you go back to the Orlando series, he hits the shot heard around the world to save game 2 at home. And then he ends up losing games 4, 5, and 6. And then against Boston in his last go-round in Cleveland, that playoff series, he lost games 4, 5, and 6. And his owner accused him of quitting. Oh, my goodness. And his internal, the guys closest to him leaked that he had to be sedated.
Ain't nobody leaked that. You made that up.
No, I didn't. It got reported on Mike and Mike. I can tell you who reported it on Mike and Mike, but I will let that go. But it got reported on ESPN that he had to be sedated.
You believe it?
For the last 3 games because of an internal team issue. That's what the insiders reported. I don't know. And then he goes to Miami. In the first year, he has the all-time epic superstar meltdown in an NBA Finals against Dallas. They go up 2-1, and then boom, he loses games 4, 5, and 6. And he just disappeared. Chosen one became the frozen one in those 3 games. And I don't know if Nick watched any of that. Maybe he just started watching LeBron lately.
It took all of that in order for him to get there. Because you make it seem like Jordan just came out the box and started winning titles. It was first round exit after first round exit after first round exit after second round exit after second round exit after conference exit. So it took all those failures in order to get to where he ultimately ended up being.
LeBron came apart right on schedule at the end of Game 6 in the 2013 Finals against my Spurs, and he had 3 uncharacteristic, unforced error turnovers in the last 3 minutes. 2 of them in the last minute of that game. He missed the tying 3, and Ray Allen saved his legacy.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, can you tell me why was Danny Green was in Pop's doghouse and never seemed to get out of it? What happened?
Did not block out LeBron James.
And
he
what
didn't
happened?
block him out.
And what happened?
LeBron came back and got the basketball. Actually, Mike Miller got the rebound and kicked it to LeBron, who then got a second chance at a 3 earlier. That's like a minute and a half ago. And he made that 3. I give you that one. But when he had the shot of shots, he had the 3 to tie it. He LeBricked it so badly. Long rebound out to Chris Bosh. No Tim Duncan in the game. Don't get me started. I don't know why. Pop. And he kicks it to Ray Allen in the corner.
Can we do context? Can I give the people a look at home a look? Because we have to put things in context in its perspective. At the start of the fourth quarter, the Miami Heat were down 10 points. They were down 10 points. They scored 30 points in the fourth quarter. LeBron scored 16, assisted on another 6. So that's 22 of the 30. LeBron James had his hand in the pot cooking. And they held the Spurs to a deficit. That's what he did. So granted, Ray Allen hit the shot, but without LeBron, there is no shot.
Really? My team was up 5 with 18 seconds and managed to blow it. 5 with 18 seconds?
There are 2 guys that had an opportunity to go to the free throw line and make 4 free throws and the game's over. Can you tell the people at home one of the guys that clanked one of those free throws?
Manu Ginobili.
I did the other guy. I think you guys didn't give me the other
you mean baby Kawhi?
Oh, he baby.
He was 18 years old. What do you expect from an 18-year-old?
First of all, you know good and well Kawhi Leonard was not 18 years old.
Well, it seemed like he was.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He shot the second free throw like he was 18.
And old Goat James took
No mercy.
The Athletic conducted a survey of 33 head coaches and assistants for who the NBA's best defenders are. And Kawhi Leonard was named to the all-defensive first team after receiving 20 first-place votes. And it might be worth mentioning that LeBron, he received 0 first-place votes. So, Shannon, does this prove Kawhi is the best 2-way player on the planet?
No, hell no. Kawhi is not close to getting the vote. No. You can't be. How you going to skip? He's game managed 13 games. That's 20% of the games they played. First of all, Giannis is the best 2-way player. Anthony Davis is the second best 2-way player.
Really?
Kawhi is not the same guy that he was prior to that injury. He doesn't routinely take the best opposing player on a nightly basis. He passes that off. No. He passes that off to Paul George on a lot of occasions. Patrick Beverly also takes that on occasion. So, no, he's not the best 2-way player. That distinction goes to Giannis. Anthony Davis is the second, but the best player. Y'all know. Hails out of Akron, Ohio.
Really?
Old Gold James.
Is that right? Huh.
Yep.
What I'm seeing is that Kawhi Leonard has become the deadliest mid-range jump shooter since Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And when you combine that with the coaches all voting for him first team all defense, because he can steal the ball the way nobody can steal it, because as one of the anonymous quotes said, when he gets his hand on the ball, it's 95% his ball. Most guys are 50-50, but he is the claw for a reason. He just disrupts. He gets hands on basketballs and steals the basketball.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is 1.
Yep.
Anthony Davis is 2. Okay, if you want to say Kawhi is 3, have at it.
Yep. Best two-way player, because that jump shot is lethal.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best two-way player.
Really?
Anthony Davis is the second best two-way player.
What happened to Giannis against the Toronto Raptors featuring
that was
Kawhi Leonard?
year.
Oh, that was last year. Oh, so he suddenly just flipped a switch and figured out how to score?
So what is Giannis doing now?
Huh?
What is Giannis doing now?
He better be practicing his jump shot, because he doesn't have one.
Don't worry about that. Don't you worry about it. Okay, you can be the best two-way player.
Yeah.
You can be the best three-way player.
Okay.
But you ain't winning the title.
All right. We'll have to see about that. That is it for Undisputed Good Stuff, guys. We'll see you back tomorrow, Friday, same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Have a good day, guys.